George lifted the slimy creature to his mouth and bit it right between the eyes. I had seen him and the other Portuguese octopus fishermen do that 100 times, but it still made me shudder. Doesn't that taste muddy and disgusting? Nah, he said, wiping his mouth on his sleeve. Only salty. I told you, this way he don't die but only sleeps. Stays fresh till he's cooked. George threw the octopus into a bucket and slid over to another hole in the mud. He filled a turkey baster from a grimy Clorox bottle and squirted the bleach into the hole. In a minute, another octopus slithered to the surface to avoid the bleach. George grabbed it, pulled it out, and bit it. You want? Makes good stew. Another shudder ran up my back, and I shook my head. I'd as soon eat sand flea soup or mud snail chowder. I'll take my fish from a can, thank you, mixed with mayo and chopped onion. Black olives, maybe. Anyway, the McGonigle's money troubles, bad as they were, did not require us to eat octopus stew. Not yet, anyway. I pulled my book of dead things from the waistband of my shorts. The octopuses in the bucket weren't exactly dead, but close enough, I decided, to add to the book. Squatting down, I examined them closely. Squishy and grayish, with yellow splotches, many legs, bright blue eyes on... Hey, George! Octopuses have blue eyes! He wiped his face with his wet and muddy hands, leaving his face wet and muddy. Nah, those fake eyes. He pulled another from its hole. They're real eyes up here, see? I looked. Indeed, the octopus's real eyes were higher on its head, dark and kind of sad. And George bit it right between them. I sketched an octopus as best I could, not being any kind of artist. My drawing looked like a blob of nothing, which is pretty much what the octopuses looked like, but with bright blue fake eyes. Tucking my book away, I walked on. Above me, the September sun was bright and warm. In San Diego, it was almost always bright and warm. People called it paradise, but often I've longed for a dreary day. Heavy dark clouds, wind whistling over the water, rain tapping on the roof and falling, plop, 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 leaving little pockmarks on the sand. Mama snorts when I say this and calls me a romantic. I don't think it's meant as a compliment. Except for the fishermen, I was alone on the beach. Summer visitors were mostly gone. Mission Beach is a spit of land 2 blocks wide and 2 miles long, with the ocean on one side and the bay on the other. Likely there were sunbathers and sandcastle builders over on the ocean side. But here on the bay, it was quiet, with a scattering of cottages, some new, some shabby, all small, and few people to bother me. That was the way I liked it. I had tides to watch, and dead things to find. I sat myself on the end of the Lemke's dock, one of several wooden docks that reached out as if trying to touch the tiny island in the middle of the bay. The tide was out, and the mud flats, speckled with eelgrass, were alive with fiddler crabs, flies, and sand fleas. Here and there, a boat marooned in the mud squeaked and scraped, awaiting the high tides that would float it once again. Twice a day, every day, the tide came in and went out. Pop said the changing tides were caused by gravitational forces related to the sun and the moon. I didn't understand how it worked, but each day I saw the waters of the bay recede and leave behind an expanse of mud and sand, and then return blue and deep. I could count on it. Every day the same. I lay back on the warm boards of the dock, scratched the flea bites on my leg, and sniffed deeply of the rich, salty, fishy smell of the mud. Gulls screeched like rusty hinges as they soared above me, and flocks of curlews and sandpipers pecked for bugs for breakfast. There was plenty of life on the bay, but a peaceful stillness, too, that comforted me when I needed comforting.